To everyone else, my kayak rental business looked like a dream. Prime waterfront, happy customers, and glowing reviews. But behind the scenes, I was exhausted, broke, and barely scraping by. Every dollar that came in disappeared into rent, insurance, repairs, and payroll. I paid everyone, suppliers, staff, the government, except myself. I was working 70-hour weeks, yet I couldn't afford groceries without guilt. Stress was constant. Big weekends brought in cash, but it vanished instantly. I started to resent the business I built, feeling trapped and burned out. The breaking point came after a busy weekend. I deposited the earnings, paid bills, and my account was nearly empty again. I hadn't set aside money for taxes or my own salary. I stared at my bank screen, overwhelmed by despair. I owned a successful business, but I was sinking fast. Something had to change, immediately. That week, desperate for answers and feeling the weight of my business struggles, I stumbled upon a book that would change everything. Profit First. I remember sitting outside, the world feeling heavy, and flipping through the first few pages with a mix of hope and skepticism. The title alone promised a new way of thinking, but I had no idea just how much it would challenge my beliefs about money and business. The core idea was deceptively simple, yet completely radical, something I'd never considered before. Instead of the traditional formula, sales minus expenses equals profit, the book urged me to flip the equation. Sales minus profit equals expenses. It was a small change in wording, but a massive shift in mindset. Suddenly, profit wasn't just a leftover, a distant hope at the end of the month. Profit became the priority, the first thing to set aside. It was a wake-up call. Why had I always treated profit as an afterthought, something I'd get to if there was anything left? The system is rooted in Parkinson's law, which says that work expands to fill the time, or in this case, the money available. If you take your profit out first, you're forced to run your business on what remains. It's a constraint, but a powerful one, forcing you to make smarter decisions and cut unnecessary spending. The book compared it to using a smaller plate at a buffet. When you have less space, you naturally take less food and you're more mindful of what you choose. In business, this means you become more intentional with every dollar you spend. By physically moving profit into a separate account, you create a barrier between your earnings and your expenses. This simple act sparks creativity and discipline because you have to find ways to make the rest work. It's not just about saving, it's about building a habit of prioritizing your business's health. I started to see how this could force me to rethink every expense, to question what was truly necessary, and to get creative about solving problems with fewer resources. Of course, I was skeptical. My expenses felt fixed, non-negotiable. How could I possibly cut back when everything already seemed so tight? But the truth was, the old way wasn't working. I was stuck in a cycle of stress, always hoping for a better month that never came. So I made a decision. I would give Profit First a real chance, a 90-day trial following the steps exactly as the book described. I marked my calendar, determined to stick with it no matter how uncomfortable it felt. At that point, I truly had nothing to lose. My business was already teetering on the edge, and I knew that if I didn't make a change, I might not have a business at all in a few months. This was my last shot at saving it. I felt a mix of fear and determination, but also a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, this new approach could be the lifeline I needed. I committed fully to the system, ready to track every dollar, make tough choices, and see if this radical idea could turn things around for me. It felt like climbing into a lifeboat after a shipwreck, uncertain but with a sense of purpose and a plan to survive. With every step, I was determined to paddle towards safety no matter how rough the waters ahead. The first step in transforming my business finances was opening 5 separate bank accounts. It might sound excessive at first, but this simple act was the foundation for everything that followed. I wanted to create a system that would finally bring order to the chaos of my business cash flow. The idea was simple: out of sight, out of mind. By separating my money into different accounts, I could make sure each dollar had a specific purpose. Each account was like a labeled jar with its own job to do, and I could no longer fool myself into thinking all my money was available for spending. Before this, I'd always lumped everything together in one big account. It was easy to lose track, and even easier to overspend. No more pretending that a single pile of money could cover every need. This was about creating boundaries and clarity. The first account was the income account. This was the collection point for all revenue coming into the business. No spending was allowed from here. Its only job was to receive money and hold it until I was ready to allocate it. Twice a month, like clockwork, I'd sit down and allocate funds from the income account to the other 4 accounts. This regular rhythm made managing my money feel less overwhelming and more intentional. The profit account always came first. Even if it was just a small percentage, I made sure to set aside money for profit before anything else. This account was hard to access on purpose, so I wouldn't be tempted to dip into it for everyday expenses. Next was owner's pay. This was my regular salary, completely separate from profit. Paying myself consistently instead of just taking whatever was left over made me feel more secure and valued as a business owner. Then came the tax account. I set aside a portion of every dollar for taxes so I'd never have to scramble or stress when tax season rolled around. This account gave me peace of mind, knowing I was always prepared. Finally, whatever was left went into the operating expenses, or OPEX account. This was the money I could actually use to run my business, pay bills, buy supplies, and cover all the day-to-day costs. If there wasn't enough, it was a clear sign I needed to cut back. This structure forced me to be clear and disciplined with every dollar. It was like giving myself a financial roadmap with clear lanes for every part of my business. At first it felt strange and even a little restrictive, but as I got used to it, I realized how empowering it was to know exactly where my money was going. For the first time, I had a system that protected both my profit and my paycheck. I wasn't just hoping things would work out, I was making sure they did. No more guessing where the money went or wondering if I'd have enough for taxes or to pay myself. Every dollar had a job, and every account had a purpose. My finances finally made sense. This was my new financial reality, a system that brought me clarity, confidence, and control over my business money. With accounts set up, I had to decide what percentage of income went where. The book offered guidelines, but I tailored them to my business. I started with 5% to profit, 30% to owner's pay, 15% to tax, and the remaining 50% to OPEX. Suddenly, I had to run my business on half the revenue I was used to. On allocation day, I moved the money, profit, owner's pay, tax, OPEX. Watching the transfers felt empowering. I finally had a profit, a salary, and taxes covered. But the real test was living on what was left. Could I actually run the business on 50%? My expenses had always eaten up almost everything. Now, I had to make it work. The challenge was on. It was time to get creative. Living on a lean OPEX budget was tough at first. I couldn't just throw money at problems anymore. Instead of buying new paddles, I learned to repair them. My team and I became resourceful, saving hundreds by fixing equipment. Marketing had to be smarter too. I built partnerships, started a loyalty program, and encouraged social media sharing for free exposure. Every expense was scrutinized. I canceled unused subscriptions and negotiated with suppliers. Each cut felt painful, but I realized I was trimming fat, not cutting into bone. The constraints made us more creative and resilient. My business was leaner, stronger, and finally under control. Scarcity forced innovation. We were thriving, not just surviving. Just as I found my rhythm, a rainy week hit and revenue dropped. Suddenly, my OPEX allocation wasn't enough for fixed costs. I panicked and borrowed from tax and owner's pay, breaking the system's rules. The stress returned instantly. I realized my mistake. I'd used static percentages in a highly seasonal business. I needed to build a buffer during peak months to cover slow periods. I adjusted my allocations, lowered OPEX in summer, higher in winter, and created a vault account for off-season expenses. The lesson: profit first isn't rigid. It must fit your business's rhythm. Adapting the system was key to making it work. Flexibility saved me from repeating old mistakes. Now, I was in control, not the other way around. After 90 days, the transformation was dramatic. My profit account held real, untouched money, my reward as an owner. The tax account was full. Tax season no longer scared me. I paid myself a consistent salary for the first time ever. The stress and uncertainty were gone. I became a strategic owner, not a frantic operator. Every expense was a choice, not a necessity. My team noticed the change. I was a better leader, focused on growth, not just survival. The business was leaner, stronger, and truly profitable. I was finally running the business, not the other way around. The Profit First system didn't just save my business, it reignited my passion for it. I was building a future, not just fighting fires. The experiment had become my new way of life. As the system worked, I noticed a new problem: bank fees. My traditional bank was quietly draining my profit with maintenance and transfer fees. Over 90 days, I lost more than $100 to fees. Money that should have been mine. Profit First is about protecting every dollar, so I switched to a free online bank with no fees and unlimited transfers. The process was a hassle, but the savings were worth it. Your banking tools matter as much as your system. Don't let hidden fees eat your profit. Find a bank that supports your goals, not one that penalizes you for being organized. This final step locked in my gains. Every dollar now worked for me. My profit was truly protected. If you're a business owner who feels broke and exhausted, you're not alone, and you're not stuck. So many entrepreneurs pour their heart and soul into their business, only to find themselves running on empty, both financially and emotionally. The good news: there's a way out, and it doesn't require a finance degree or a massive windfall. It starts with a simple shift in how you think about profit and how you manage your money. The old formula, sales minus expenses equals profit, makes profit an afterthought, something that happens by accident, if at all. But what if you flip the script? It's time to put profit first, making it a non-negotiable part of your business, not just a leftover at the end of the month. Start small. Open a dedicated profit account at your bank and move just 1% of every payment you receive into it. It might seem tidy, but it's the act of prioritizing profit that matters. Over time, this small step builds a powerful habit and shows you that you could run your business differently. It's not about the amount, it's about building the habit. Even if you start with just a few dollars, you're training yourself to treat profit as essential, not optional. This mindset shift is the foundation of lasting financial health. As you get comfortable, add more accounts for owner's pay, tax, and operating expenses. Each account has a clear purpose, helping you avoid the stress of surprise tax bills or not paying yourself enough. You'll gain clarity and control over your cash flow, making your business work for you, not the other way around. Use percentages that fit your business and adjust as you grow. Maybe you start with 1% for profit, 5% for taxes, and 10% for owner's pay. As your revenue increases, you can tweak these numbers to match your goals and needs. The key is to review and refine regularly. Profit First is a flexible framework, not a rigid rulebook. It's designed to adapt to your unique business, whether you're just starting out or you've been at it for years. You're in control, and you can make changes as your business evolves. Choose a bank with no fees. Don't let hidden costs steal your hard-earned profit. Shop around, ask questions, and make sure your bank supports your system. Every dollar you save on fees is a dollar that stays in your business. The tools you use matter. Whether it's a simple spreadsheet, an app, or envelopes and jars, pick what works for you. The right tools make it easier to track your progress and stay motivated. Take an hour to set up your accounts and switch banks if needed. This small investment of time can pay off for years to come, giving you peace of mind and a clear path forward. You have the power to change your financial future. By taking small, consistent steps, you can transform your business from a source of stress into a source of freedom and joy. Start small, be consistent, and always pay yourself first. Remember, financial freedom isn't about making millions overnight. It's about building habits that last a lifetime. Financial freedom is closer than you think. With every step you take, you're moving toward a future where your business supports your life, not the other way around. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other business owners who could use a little financial freedom. Your support helps us reach more entrepreneurs just like you.